Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. My dear friends, we have presented our first program on October 9th regarding the survey of which the Ahmadiyya community is going to conduct in UK, United Kingdom. This is our program, second program in English especially for the UK resident, for the Muslims and the Ahmadis. And I would invite to my brother Umar to conduct this program and introduce our participants, Muslim Bhai, Mr. Ahir, and himself. So over. Yes, brother Umar.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Welcome to all of our panelists for today's show. As our beloved Sheikh Saab has mentioned, the first Urdu iteration of this show was conducted on Saturday, 9th October 2021. And today we are going to relate the same show in English for our viewership across the globe. So first of all, good morning for those viewing from the United States. Good afternoon for those viewing from the United Kingdom. And for our Pakistani and Asian viewers, good evening.
Good evening.
The survey that the Zaitoon team brought forth on Saturday, October 9th, relates to the University of Exeter, United Kingdom, and the survey's title is Understanding the Muslim Minority Within Minority Experience in the UK. Now, this survey title takes a little bit of understanding the Muslim minority within a minority. So as it relates, the minority of a minority can only relate to the Ahmadi community. And with that, I would like to introduce our brother Muslim Bhai, who's done a very good job in populating a nice little presentation, multiple slides that we'll be sharing with you throughout the show. We will take some question and answers at the end of the show, and throughout we'll give our own interpretations, studies, and examples of what's being discussed. So with that, Assalamu alaikum, Muslim Bhai, if you want to take it from there.
Wa alaikum assalam. Thank you, Umar. Thank you, Sheikh Saab. I am quite obliged for inviting me to the show. Thank you, Sheikh Saab. Basically, I have been invited to have an objective review of the survey that is being conducted by University of Exeter in the United Kingdom. So I will deliberate on certain facets of the survey, which will help all of the listeners understand that what is being discussed and what is happening in the United Kingdom. Obviously, my review will be limited to objective aspects only, and I will refrain from inserting my personal views or subjective views. I'm pretty sure that the objective review that I will conduct, most of the listeners will be able to understand and also infer most of the points that this survey entails. So thank you everybody for listening to me, and I will limit myself to the slides only so that we remain focused and we are able to extract something out of this presentation. Sheikh Saab very strictly instructed me to limit my discussion to a specific time frame. So I would like to wrap up my discussion within that slot. I'm sure Sheikh Saab, the first slide is on the screen. It says an objective review of a survey being conducted in the United Kingdom. I'm pretty sure that everybody understands what is United Kingdom. Basically, there are four components of the United Kingdom. One is the England, second is Wales, third is Scotland, and the fourth is Northern Ireland. So whatever we are talking about covers the whole four countries within the United Kingdom. So this survey is being conducted in the whole of the United Kingdom. Now, the survey, the title, as Umar Bhai said, the survey title is Understanding the Muslim Minority Within Minority Experience in the UK. Sheikh Saab, second slide. Next slide, please. I believe Sheikh Saab is operating these slides.
No, Farooq.
Farooq, are you operating? Can we go to the next slide, please?
Sheikh Saab, it's from your laptop.
Oh, okay. Sorry, then just give me a minute. And
so whilst the presentation is coming up on the screen, let me tell you that this survey is being conducted by the Arabic and Islamic Studies Department within the University of Exeter, United Kingdom. And this is, next slide, please. This survey is a part of PhD. So what will happen after the survey? Through this PhD efforts are being made to understand 2-3 more important points. The first being what the main problems are in understanding the intersectarian Muslim experience in the UK. What is it is to feel both persecuted for being a Muslim by elements of the non-Muslim communities within the UK. The efforts are being made to understand those persecuted for not being the right type of Muslim as per the standards of other Muslim communities. And the fourth point is the state's actions. Basically, the efforts through this PhD, the efforts are being made to understand state's actions or inactions in serving this Muslim minority within a minority. So this is the perspective of the PhD within which the outcome of this survey will be used, and the outcome will come from this survey itself. So at this point of time, we are talking about this survey only. Sheikh Saab, next slide, please. What is minority within minority? So the caption seemingly it's not that easy to comprehend. So I tried to jot down few aspects from within the survey so that we can understand what actually this survey is all about. What is minority within a minority? So according to the most recent census that was held within the UK, the Muslim population in the UK was 3.372 million. Of that number, there are roughly 30,000 Ahmadis. So this is the official figures which the University of Exeter has confirmed through this survey, that this is the whole population size of the Muslims in the UK. And within that population, we are talking about Ahmadis. Now, what is minority within minority? Since Muslims in the UK, they are not majority population of the UK, the Christians being the majority population, so in comparison, the Muslims are in minority. Now, within this minority Muslim population, some people or few sections of the society consider that Ahmadis are part of Muslims, but irrespective of that, we can deliberate on this point whether Ahmadis are Muslims, part of Islam, or otherwise, whatever the case may be. We will deliberate upon this maybe later on. But the survey confirms that the whole population of the Ahmadis in the UK is roughly 30,000 people. So people who sometimes cast impressions that the Ahmadis are in high and large number within the UK, they must correct their figures from this official document of the University of Exeter, that they confirm that this is the size of they still confirm that this is the roughly size of the population of Ahmadis within the UK. So they consider that Ahmadi are the part of Muslims. So they consider, since the Muslims are minority in the UK, and within this Muslim community there is Ahmadi sect, they are in the minority. So what is minority within a minority? So what is minority? The first minority refers to Ahmadis, and within next minority refers to Muslim community in the UK. So they are talking about Ahmadis within Muslims community in UK. As a very small minority within a much larger minority group, the Ahmadis face minority within minority issues particular to living in a liberal democratic state. This is I have copied from the survey so that I don't go wrong in copying anything or saying or referring to anything. So this is what the survey says. Now let's have a glance over what will happen after this survey is being conducted. Sheikh Saab, next slide, please. So the survey says the information gained from the survey and further interviews will inform the results of the research. So this is the key point, that the outcome of the survey will form the basis of the research. The conclusions will be arrived through research which will be based on the results of the survey. So those people who are responsible to complete the survey, they carry abundant responsibility to be responsible while answering to the questions asked in the survey. Otherwise, if they are for any reason irresponsible, the survey results will go wrong, the research will go wrong. Now, coming back to the point, the information gained from the survey and further interviews will be written into the PhD thesis. The results will be published in journal articles. The results will be discussed in conferences and will potentially contribute towards a book. So it will have a huge local, regional, national, and international impact in promotion of the findings of the research. The research will be used to campaign for better recognition of the plight of Ahmadis. So the people who are conducting this survey, they have very categorically and very clearly confirmed that the results of the survey will be used as a campaign. For whom? For Ahmadis. To make efforts to afford them equal rights, to protect them from discrimination in the UK, to provide results that could be used by politicians and local authorities to inform how they best cater for Muslims with regard to protecting them in particular from discrimination. So this is what's going to happen from the outcome of the survey. Now let's come to the next slide, which we start talking about some issues, confusions, and concerns arising from the survey. So my job being limited to the objective analysis of the survey, so I will limit myself to the issues, confusions, and concerns only, without without including or covering my own perspective to the survey. So the next slide talks about diversified Muslim community in the UK. The survey people says that owing to Islam in the UK's huge variety, they consider that Islam is quite diversified, and they consider the basis for the diversification is that it involves different sects who have come from different geographical origins. They speak different languages. They have very different strata of wealth.
They come with different educational backgrounds. Obviously, their genders are different and sexual orientations are different. So this is the diversification that the survey people are describing as. They have considered these points as a token of diversification. But within this diversification, I was trying to find out something about Ahmadiyya. From my perspective, if I take objective review of this survey, Ahmadiyya is not part of Islam or Muslims as decreed by Muslims. Now, let's consider the basis of the diversification that these survey people have highlighted. And now I'm trying to plot the Ahmadiyya community under these, the basis of diversification. So if Ahmadiyya is not part of Islam or Muslims as decreed by Muslims, or Ahmadiyya have themselves outcast Muslims as being not Muslims, therefore neither Islam becomes a sect of Ahmadiyya nor vice versa. So if they are not part of each other, or they are not sect of each other, or they are not component of each other, then how can they fall under the diversification specifications which the survey people have already highlighted? Ahmadiyya and Muslims are not different sects. They have come from different geographical origins. Some have come from India, some have come from Pakistan, some may have come from other places. They speak different languages. Their wealth background is different. Their education background may be different. Genders may be one and the same. The sexual orientation may be different. So it's a gray area when somebody is basing their survey under the diversification of Muslim community, but under that diversification slots, the Ahmadiyya and Muslims don't fall, then I'm a bit concerned. I'm looking for answers that how Ahmadiyya is being considered as the diversified part of whole Muslim community living in the UK. So that's my version of the concerns which I was trying to find out answer from this survey. And to my limitations, I was unable to understand that how Ahmadiyya has been classified as part of Muslim community or under the diversification definition. Let's come to the next slide, which says who is invited to participate in the survey. So 300 members of the Ahmadiyya community have been invited. Which Ahmadiyya community members? Those specifically living in the UK. Now, I was trying to find out who must be those 300 coveted people, coveted members of the Ahmadiyya community who have been invited. I was trying to find out the eligibility criteria of those 300. To my surprise, I was unable to find out the eligibility criteria or any definition of who those 300 Ahmadiyya members have to be. I was trying to find out whether anybody claiming to be from Ahmadiyya can participate in the survey, or their offshoots such as Lahori Jamaat can also respond. So within Ahmadiyya community, I have been given to understand that they have many offshoots as well. So where the survey does not spell out whether the offshoot of the Ahmadiyya community are also entitled to participate or become a part of those 300 respondents or not, then anybody not from Ahmadiyya community can still they participate in the survey? Because the very first question of the survey says, do you identify as Ahmadi / part of the Ahmadiyya community, yes or no? This question gives a sigh of concern to me that whether those 300 people can include the offshoots of the Ahmadiyya community, or those who are mainstream Muslims from around the world. So this gives me an impression. Then any respondent may click on yes and start responding. So what is the authenticity of the respondents? If for any reason anybody starts claiming whatever the claim may be by saying yes, so they are free to answer whatever the answer they want to do. So if this is the criteria of 300 members, so I'm quite concerned that what will be the genuineness of the outcome of the very survey if it is using that without defining the eligibility criteria or defining those 300 members. I'm concerned that the real outcome of the survey will become non-representative of the efforts that is being carried out by the University of Exeter. When this cannot be established, that who is those 300 persons, how the survey can be used to derive right results based on which PhD will be awarded and its finding will be published and promoted that widely, which I have shown in previous slides. So for me, this is a gray area, rather a darker area as compared to a simpler gray area. Let's move to the next slide, which talks about what is the right type of Muslim. The survey claims, I have copied this line from the survey. This says, persecuted for not being the right, under inverted commas, type of Muslim as per the standards of other Muslim communities. Now, a definition of Muslim, right Muslim, wrong Muslim, non-Muslim, Ahmadiyya, non-Ahmadiyya could not be found in the survey documents. So how can the University of Exeter can trigger a point which is unfounded? Who is going to decide who is right, who is wrong? At least the survey does not say that what they conceive a right Muslim to be or what they conceive a wrong Muslim to be. I cannot find the answer to the definition of the right, which they have placed under the inverted commas. So how the question of right or wrong type of Muslim can be determined through this survey, I'm not sure. Interestingly, I'm trying to highlight now a very important aspect. Interestingly, Muslims and Ahmadiyya both have their own definitions of the right Muslim. So the survey people who are, what are they talking, which right type of Muslim they are talking about? Whether they are talking about the right type of Muslim from the perspective of the Ahmadiyya community or from the perspective of the Muslim community. This is, the survey is silent. In the wake of this difference, when Muslims and Ahmadiyya do not concur, do not agree on the very definition of the right Muslim, then how a third party can decide, determine, or use the term right Muslim to build a case that will have enormous impact on the racial harmony in the UK? Very serious point. The survey team has not appreciated that the community called Ahmadiyya, Qadiani, Mirzai are not part of the Muslim community, neither in UK nor around the world. Both the communities have 180-degree different diversified beliefs. All the different constituents, sects of the local and global Muslim communities have collectively, unanimously given Islamic fatwa of Ahmadiyya, Qadiani, Mirzai as non-Muslims. When the basic definition has not been agreed upon, the research, the findings, the PhD, and all the resulting actions including any policy decisions by the state, may turn out to be wrong. Let's move to the sample question, that is next slide. Sample selection, sorry. When Ahmadiyyas are not part of the Muslims, then how the whole research could be based on the wrong sample? Using a wrong sample of Ahmadiyya community to represent the whole component, to represent as component of the Islam, and arrive at conclusions involving Muslims, this will return a wrong results. This will return a wrong decision. When the sample is not representative of the whole, then the outcome of the research will be wrong. The geopolitical sensitivities involved, including Muslims, non-Muslims, and countries around the world, this may trigger a fresh wave of hatred among Muslims in the UK, against Muslims in the UK, with reference to the Muslims in the UK and around the world. Research will become documented history. It's a very serious thing. Research will become documented history. A history writ wrong. A history writ long. Sorry, a history writ wrong. Because the sample using which the whole research will be based on will be incorrect, faulty, and non-representative. Wrong sample will result in wrong results, conclusions and inferences distorting the research in itself and writing wrong history. I have very serious concerns. Because of this, I was unable to find any answer or solution to this concern from the documents, which is basically the consent document and the survey itself. Now, I invite your attention to few specific questions. The first question being questions of discrimination and breach of human rights, question 24. I have consent to claim that these questions are discriminatory and they breach the human rights. I have tried to find answers from the survey documents and my concern has remained unresolved. So I invite your attention to correct me for this concern, or rather, I raise this concern for your attention. Question 24 says, I copy, on average, if you have suffered negative treatment in the UK, has it come more from the Muslim community or non-Muslim community? They have given you option to tick Muslim community, non-Muslim community, or I have faced no description, or equal. Now, I invite your attention to this question, which provides an option to the respondents to discriminate against Muslims, because they have highlighted Muslim and they have not given any other type of community from non-Muslim slots. So Muslims have been identified in these questions and non-Muslim communities have not been identified. There are so many different communities from representing different religions, so they have not been named in this question, and only Muslim community has been identified in this survey. So when they claim that whether Muslim community has given you or you have suffered from the hands of Muslim community, then they don't define Muslim community in the first place. As I previously said, that Ahmadiyya claim themselves to be Muslims. So if Ahmadiyya claim themselves to be the Muslims, then whether this question is by saying Muslim community, are they talking about they are considering the Muslim community, the Ahmadiyya community as Muslim community, and they are asking the Ahmadiyya people to tell them whether Ahmadiyya people have faced or suffered any negative treatment from the other parts of within Ahmadiyya community which they claim themselves to be Muslims. So I believe that the construction of this question gives Ahmadiyya community an opportunity to even say yes, that they have suffered some kind of negative treatment from the Muslim community, and mind it, Muslim community being themselves, as they claim themselves to be the Muslim, and any other people claiming to be Muslims as non-Muslims. So this gives an opening to the Ahmadiyya community by qualifying, quantifying, or stating that yes, they may have, if they have suffered any negative treatment from the other parts of the Ahmadiyya community, they may provide further information if they like. If they have faced such a situation, they may take pleasure in answering this question by giving their own perspective that yes, they have suffered some negative treatment from the other parts, other components of the Ahmadiyya community. Now I invite your attention to the next slide, which talks about question 28. I quote, "What do you think leads to anti-Ahmadiyya thinking in the UK?" Now you can select multiple responses from the options given below. The options are ideology moving over from Pakistan to the UK, anti-Ahmadiyya organizations like Khatm-e-Nabuwat existing in the UK, Pakistani clerics touring in the UK or speaking in mosques via video link, anti-Ahmadiyya individuals holding positions of influence in local authorities or the police or central government, circulation of anti-Ahmadiyya literature, and others. Now, I invite your attention to the respected listeners to this very question. I start reading this question again. What do you think leads to anti-Ahmadiyya thinking in the UK? Now, as I cited an example previously, that there are quite number of offshoots within the Ahmadiyya community who are effectively anti-Ahmadiyya. So I think that Ahmadiyyas the respondents representing Ahmadiyya community have the opportunity to answer in this question that anti-Ahmadiyya segments, which include the offshoots of the Ahmadiyyas, they whatever their preaching may be, they may be leading to creating anti-Ahmadiyya sentiments within the UK. As I was given to understand that those offshoots of the anti-Ahmadiyya community do exist within the UK, so now the Ahmadiyya community has the option, while answering this question, to highlight that they face or the anti-Ahmadiyya thinking or sentiment arising from the offshoots of the Ahmadiyya community are, maybe if Ahmadiyya community considers this, that they may also play an active role in creating anti-Ahmadiyya sentiments in the UK. But I was trying to create some objective analysis of this question, and I was totally astounded to find out that respondents may take multiple, even all of the suggestions given. Strangely, none of the questions previously or later on gives this leeway or the option or the facility to the respondents to answer or tick more than one options. So strangely, this question gives this leverage to the respondents to tick multiple answers, whatever is relevant in their opinion. Now, I was slightly concerned and off track by seeing that this question identifies a specific name of a specific country. Personally, I consider, I may be wrong, the concerned professionals can consider this aspect, I may be wrong, but I consider that identifying just name of one country out of 200 countries, approximately the 200 countries around the world, identifying or picking or fingering, identifying or putting or highlighting a name of a country, a specific country only, make this question a bit discriminatory. I'm unsure. The professional will decide, but that was my observation. Or if the concerned surveyors wanted to make it non-discriminatory, they were having the opportunity to put name of more countries, maybe 2, 10, 5, 10 or more countries of their choice, so that this impression which I am gathering from this question, that impression would not have arisen in first place. Now, it's strangely, as I said previously, that it's not only one country in the world that has decreed the Ahmadiyyas to be non-Muslims. I have been given to understand that there are many more countries who have collectively, unanimously, involving, covering all the possible sects within the bracket and framework of Islam, have decreed Ahmadiyyas and non-Muslims. So seemingly the survey people either have not conducted that basic research that which other countries have classified, categorized, declared and decreed is Ahmadis and non-Muslims, or they have simply chosen to ignore those countries from this question. So this ignorance or deliberate elimination may give rise to some kind of impression of discrimination in the eyes of few of the readers of this survey. This question, I feel, the experts will confirm or otherwise, that for me this question breaches the human rights of the people, specific people whose ethnicity belongs to that very country which has been named in this question. Now, if you identify a specific country, so you are including the whole of the ethnic population coming from that country to be the target and subject matter of this whole survey, the whole PhD, and the whole of the research, and whole of the publications, whole of the book, and whole of the conferences, and whole of the policies which will ensue, which will entail, which will result from or flow from the state of the United Kingdom. So I believe that the people who are conducting this survey have fully recognized the very impacts arising from this very question, and the impacts, I include both the positive impacts and the negative impacts. So I'm sure I take the positive side of the question, that they have deliberately ignored the inclusion of the name of the other countries, because I consider that these survey people more prudent, more qualified, and more knowledgeable, and they must have done their very basic homework before proceeding to conduct this survey. So I presume that they understand the names of the different countries, as well as the ethnicity who have come from those countries and living into the UK. So I take it the positive side of the questions. If the survey team has not appreciated this aspect, I am sure that before finalizing or concluding this survey, they will reconsider this question. Their ethics committee will also review this question, and ensure that this question has positivity as compared to any negativity which I feel somehow cultivates. I'm sure the concerned survey team and the SX committee will remove my concern by ensuring that they have not been subject to discriminating against a specific country from the world and a specific community living in the UK. Next is the same question, question 28. I invite your attention to the very question. In this question, you will see that after the question, the second option available is anti-Ahmadiyya organizations like Khatm-e-Nabuwat existing in the UK. Now, in the previous slide, I talked about the ethnic population relating to that country. And now I'm talking in this slide, the rights of speech of that specific organization. Again, coming back to same concerns, that I'm pretty sure I have been given to understand that there are very many organizations based in the UK who have goal congruence among different organizations who are creating awareness among Muslim people living in the UK and around the world and other people about what is the Islam, who are the Muslims, and who are non-Muslims. So Khatm-e-Nabuwat, I have been given to understand that Khatm-e-Nabuwat is one of those organizations. So if by any chance, erroneously, in this question, the name of a specific organization has been used, I wish to eliminate any possibility of any impression of this question being discriminatory. The survey team must have included the names of other similar organizations, or they may have chosen to clearly eliminate the name of this very organization, because this question has given me impression that by identifying a specific organization from the thousands of organizations operating in the UK gives a sense of discrimination. Again, I may be wrong, but the concerned professionals can ensure that this question is not discriminatory. Again, I will request the concerned survey team or the University of Exeter to kindly review this question once again and ensure that this eliminates any impression of discrimination. Now I come to next slide, question 29. I have copied this question from the survey. This question 29 states, how does the ideology move from Pakistan to the UK? The options given are preachers coming to the UK, the preaching online and other online avenues, Pakistani political news channels in the UK, anti-Ahmadi organizations in the UK. Again, I repeat the same thing again, identifying a specific country without identifying other countries, or if I take it positive that erroneously the name of one country has been stated, again, one way or the other, this question gives some kind of discriminatory impression and also gives rise to the impression of breaching the human rights by identifying the mediums of impression, mediums of speech, or mediums which create awareness about the right Islam, about the right Muslims. I'm sure that the concerned quarters, including the survey team, the ethics committee of the University of Exeter, and all concerned would consider reviewing this question again and would take essential and necessary steps to ensure that this question does not give rise to impression of discrimination or impact or impression of breaching right of any human rights? I'm sure that the concerned quarters would definitely consider this question. Now, I have tried to jot down few of the impressions which I feel, I'm pretty sure, that the survey team must have considered, but I'm writing this or jotting down only to invite the attention of the survey team, the ethics committee team, and the University of Exeter, that before proceeding to secure 300 responses from the respondents and concluding based on their responses, I'm pretty sure that this survey team, the ethics committee team, and the University of Exeter must have considered following points. I just jot down, I just raise my concern. They may not be applicable in the case of this survey, but this survey or the construction of the survey gives rise to this impression. I'm pretty sure that the concerned quarters will try to eliminate these impressions which are arising from this survey. So the first thing is that the survey team must have considered, they must have given appropriate weightage to the possible benefits and or threats arising from this research. I'm pretty sure that some actions or inactions should be dependent upon the higher of the benefit or lower of the threats which may arise from an activity. I'm pretty sure that the survey team, ethics committee, University of Exeter must have ensured the potential benefits arising from this survey, they outweigh the potential threats which may arise from this survey. I'm pretty sure they must have considered or given appropriate weightage to the two. Very sensitive balance between the Muslims and other mainstream communities in the UK exists, and any matter of displeasure, controversial or disputed may trigger harm with colossal loss. I'm pretty sure what I am referring to or inviting attention of the concerned quarters, they must have considered that there is very delicate balance which exists between Muslims and other communities, or between other communities and other non-Muslims, and vice versa, and under the different religions. There are very delicate balances. That delicate balance allows coexistence of different communities living together inside the UK. So I'm pretty sure that the survey team must have ensured that they are not breaching that delicate balance by proceeding to conduct this survey or proceeding to arrive at conclusion from this survey, or to go for research or take other further actions. I'm pretty sure that they must have very seriously considered that imbalance or the delicate balance among those communities. Now, the next thing which comes to my mind is possible spread of hatred against Muslim. When survey team is talking about hatred against Ahmadiyya, I'm pretty sure that their actions or their inactions will not result into counter hatred against Muslims. I'm sure they must have ensured that there will be no possible spread of discrimination against Muslims. Sheikh Sahab, I'm talking about, did the survey team consider? The next point that comes to my mind, that there is a possible spread. There is a chance that the threats exist, that as a result of this research or findings of this research or further actions based on this research, there may be threats to Muslim individuals, Muslim properties, and Muslim places of worship. There may be possible attacks on Muslim individuals, Muslim properties, and Muslim places of worship. There are chances that the hatred may spread against those who are following Islam in letter and spirit, such as men and women in Islamic dresses and appearances. There are a chance of spreading hatred against Pakistan and contributing towards rifts which may lead to discrimination against Pakistanis and introduction of ensuing policies against Pakistan and its people. Possible spread of hatred against those who are creating awareness about Islam. Possible spread of hatred against those who are protecting the basics and pillars of Islam. Possible spread of hatred against those who are protecting the holy prophets such as Jesus Christ and holy books such as Bible. Now I invite your attention to the next slide, which talks about what Muslims in the UK can do. So there are possible avenues available which Muslims can take positive steps to approach concerned quarters, sound their concerns or their misconceptions. Maybe readers of the survey may be gathering some wrong impressions from the survey. So by approaching the team which is conducting the survey, or the Research Ethics Committee, or the University of Exeter, by sounding the negative concerns, these people may be able to clarify on these concerns, and maybe the people who have concerns, they will be relaxed and they will understand the very basics and the purpose of this survey or the background which has triggered the conduct of this survey. So we expect that by writing or approaching these quarters, the concerned authorities would have an opportunity to satisfy the people who have concerns based on this survey, or clarify on the issues highlighted, which they may write in their communication to these quarters, the concerned quarters. So I am highlighting few avenues to the people who may have concerns. They may be Muslims living in the UK, or they may be offshoots of the Ahmadiyya community, or maybe people from any other walk of life, including any other religion or any other person who may have some kind of concern, maybe different from mine. They have the approach, they have the avenue to approach these quarters. So now I try to give you the contact details so that you people who have concerns can contact directly and seek and secure responses from them. So you can approach the Research Ethics Committee, University of Exeter, directly through email. So this is the email. This email has been given in the survey documents, so anybody can find this information from the survey documents as well. I have copied this information from the survey documents, so I have just made a slide for the convenience of the listeners of this session. They can write to the Research Ethics Committee, University of Exeter. The concerned professional is Jonathan Githens-Mazer. He is the Associate Professor in Ethno-Politics Institute of Arab and Islamic Studies, University of Exeter. This is their full address. They have also given their phone number. The phone number is 1392-724032. They can email to the Charlotte Littlewood, who is conducting this research. Her email is given here. They can approach their local MPs. They can meet their local MPs. They can use social media to create awareness on the possible negative impacts of the research. Muslims should lead in stopping the spread of hatred against anybody, including Muslims in the UK and worldwide, because as I previously told, that there may be very many people, not only Muslims, who may be subject to the target of the people who will not understand this research or who have concerns, and Muslims or those communities may be at the receiving end. So I invite all people, they can check the documents from the survey and they can find the contact details of the concerned. and they are welcome. If they have any concern, they can communicate through the medium of communication already stated in the survey. Now, I invite your attention to the next slide, which talks about what are the human rights and discrimination laws in the UK. So basically, this is a legal area. I have tried to highlight the links which people can use to find what is the position of human rights and what are the discriminatory law in the UK. There is an official organization, governmental organization, public sector organization called Citizens Advice. I have referred their links in this slide. I have highlighted human rights. I have highlighted discriminatory law, race discrimination, which covers racial, ethnic, and national origins, direct discrimination, indirect discrimination. So people who may have concerns or who are interested may use these links or approach Citizens Advice to find out further information or further clarification on human rights and discriminatory law in the UK. After completing this slide, I reach to my last slide, which is basically my thank you message, but very important message. I want to conclude by inviting everybody's attention that everybody should act responsibly. Those who are listening to this session, they must act responsibly. Those people who are professionals, they must act responsibly. Those people who are conducting this survey, they must act responsibly. The research and ethics committee of the university, they must act with the full responsibility. They must act responsibly. So by highlighting all should act responsibly, I act every single person who may have any stake or maybe stakeholder in one shape or the other arising from this survey. So I thank every of my listeners in this session. I thank especially Sheikh Saab and Umar Bhai and Farooq Bhai. I'm available for any question answer session. But before proceeding to any question answer session, I will repeat that Sheikh Saab has limited me or reduced me to conducting the objective analysis of the survey as well. So probably I will be unable to take any question which is outside the framework of objectivity or is not within my purview. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much, Muslim Bhai. Thank you so much. I appreciate your effort and your time. For our listeners and viewers, that if you have any question, you're most welcome. There is a number on the screen, my number, and Farooq Bhai's email. You can write him and you can call me and give your question and we will ask from the Muslim Bhai. Now, before I let go Muslim Bhai, could you a little bit, if you see the slide number, I believe it is 5, where it says what is minority within minority. Are you listening me, brother Muslim Bhai?
Gigi, I'm listening. Yeah, carry on, please.
Now, I see that the figure that according to the most recent census, there are 3,037,000 something. Is that the 33 million?
No, this is 3.3 million, which we call in Urdu 33 lakhs.
ठीक है जी. अब 33 लाख में से ये जो नंबर है रफली 30,000, ये अहमदियों का है
जी.
So they are minority within the Muslims.
Yes.
Sheikh Saab.
Yeah.
Sheikh Saab, may I interject? I would Please. Also like, just as Sheikh Saab has mentioned, Muslim Bhai, thank you very, very much for a very detailed analysis of this what I would call, just from reviewing my review right now, an illegitimate and clearly one-sided survey. Now, Sheikh Saab, he's brought up a good point. Your slide number 5 has some interesting facts. Let's put that in perspective. The United Kingdom, as you earlier mentioned, Muslim Bhai, is made up of 4 states, basically England, Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland. Their total population, combined population, is 68 million. So for our viewers that are listening today, 68 million, 3.372966, 3,372,000,000 Muslims represent approximately 5% of the entire United Kingdom population. Ahmadi population represents only 0.04% of the entire UK population. Now, as Muslim Bhai has mentioned, they are only polling 300 Ahmadis in this survey. So that is such an insignificant number to poll. It's beyond me. That number equates to decimal 0.0004% of the UK population. I mean, it's kind of ludicrous when you put it in those kind of numbers. It's obvious that it's agenda driven. I will put my own perspective on it. Unfortunately, you know, the Ahmadiyya Jamaat is very well acquainted with these kind of tactics. For the benefit of our viewers, I would like to mention that England, or the United Kingdom per se, it has been fair ground for Ahmadis and Muslims alike. Ahmadis claim to be in England as of 100 years. I'm astonished to hear that they only have 30,000 representing their community in England, when England has opened up their doors. United Kingdom is the backyard of the Ahmadiyya community, supposedly. That is where their Khalifa Mirza Masroor resides and perpetuates the Ahmadiyya belief in his Friday sermons. So it's very, very interesting. You know, I would love to, you know, further discuss with our viewers the effects of the survey. It is mind-boggling. It is obviously, this is agenda-driven. This is going to cause censorship of Muslim TV programs, possibly. Muslims visiting from other countries to the United Kingdom. Now, supposedly, this survey is being conducted by Charlotte Littlewood of the Exeter University. And this is being put forth. All of this information will be shared and put forth in a PhD thesis that is furthermore going to be shared to the greater global public. And it could be used to enforce new and creative restrictive laws against Muslims worldwide, as our brother has mentioned. Now, but specifically in the survey, for an English lady, Charlotte Littlewood, to mention the organization Khatm-e-Nubuwwat by name is very insightful. I believe that the Khatm-e-Nubuwwat organization in the United States, in the United Kingdom, at the greater global large, they're very respective of everyone's feelings. Obviously, Khatm-e-Nubuwwat is going to perpetuate their beliefs of Islam. Now, I also wanted to mention to our believers, to our viewers that are watching, the Muslims, the Christians, possibly Jewish faith, Hindu faith, is it possible, should it be a right of one sect or one religious group to represent the other? Let me give you an outline. Would Christians believe in some sort of survey if the survey was being put forth by the Jewish community? With that, would Muslims believe or participate in this survey if the survey was being conducted by Christians. So if Muslims won't believe in a survey from Christians and the Christians won't believe in a survey from the Jewish community, how is it that the United Kingdom or the University of Exeter should conduct a survey representing Ahmadis who supposedly are representing the entire Muslim community? That is absolutely wrong. Question 24, 28, and question 29 are clearly indicating that the Ahmadi community is behind this very survey and not the university. I hope that all of our viewers take mention of what our brother Muslim Bhai has shared at the end. All should act responsibly. You have the responsibility to direct the attention to your local MPs, to the university itself, to the individual conducting such PhD writings and thesis. Reach out, stop the spread of any hatred. United Kingdom is a democratic society, and this survey should be conducted democratically, taking everyone's perception into the equation, not just one ethnic community. Please go ahead, Sheikh Saab, if you have any comments.
So I will invite Muslim Bhai, if you have to comment on this one. Muslim Bhai, please.
Again, this is very clearly very objective analysis of Umar Bhai, that it is it is very clear, it is very obvious that I'm not sure, because beyond this survey I don't have any knowledge of what is actually the PhD about. The concern is whether the people who are conducting this research, are they going to conduct further research from Muslims so that they can have both sides of the stories, and then they can decide that which way the results of the survey should go or are going, or what way the results will be derived from, or what will happen after that. It should not happen that we in our Urdu are used to say, somebody said to another person, oh, somebody has stolen your ear. And he's not touching his ear, but he's running after somebody because he thinks somebody told him that he has stolen, snatched, or cut his ear, and he's running and taking the ear away from you. So that person has even not touched his ear. He's running after that person. So this may happen. I have concerns that the outcome of this survey, somebody will steal the results of the survey and will start manipulating the results of their choice and start moving in one direction or the other, which will be completely detrimental to the very interests of very many people living in the UK. And as I highlighted, that there are so many delicate balances involved. If you touch one aspect of that balance, the whole balance is going to tumble down. So those people, as I said in the last slide, please, please, please act responsibly. If you are acting responsibly, if you are responsible and acting responsibly, please show your responsibility. If you are acting with responsibility, then I'm with you. Many people will be with you to participate in the survey. But the survey has to be changed accordingly so that your research, we understand. So many people in the UK understand the value of a research. That's the reason that we have serious concerns that the research that you're talking about is incomplete or not using the very many correct basis which a research should be based on. So I'm repeating the same thing again, that Umar Bhai has very correctly stated whatever he has stated, it is very right, and not only this is relevant to to the United States, but very particularly it is also applicable in the United Kingdom. Yes, Umar bhai.
Thank you, Muslim Bhai. Thank you so much. And I will also request to all the Muslims in United Kingdom that in the description, the numbers and the emails and the link have given, please follow them. Please look at them, write to them, talk to them, email them. Thank you so much. I appreciate Umar.
You know, Sheikh
Brother,
Saab, I'm trying to remember the Al-Fazl article in which Mirza Bashiruddin Mahmud, and for our viewers who are unacquainted with such a person, Mirza Bashiruddin Mahmud was the son of Mirza Ghulam Ahmad, Mirza Ghulam Ahmad being the founder of Ahmadiyya. Mirza Bashiruddin Mahmud in Al-Fazl, I'm trying to remember when India was going to do a census of population of the Muslims within India. At that time, Mirza Bashiruddin said, "Hey, don't include us in the Muslim population.
yes,
We are a different.
separate.
We're separate." Just like he gave a very interesting comparison. He compared the Ahmadiyya community to the Parsis. And I wish I had the quick reference, but I'll look it up, and if any of the viewers would request such, I can deliver it later. But obviously, Ahmadis have considered themselves outside of the fold of Islam and the greater population of the Muslims. So I would advise them, they're on equal playing grounds in the United Kingdom. Play fairly, objectively. Don't perpetuate lies and hatred or instill lies and hatred within the greater United Kingdom. I've visited United Kingdom several times, and I've always found everyone very pleasant. So let's keep it a pleasant conversation, pleasant survey, a survey that factually derives a meaning for the greater good of humans living in the United Kingdom, not spreading hatred.
Brother Umar, I think we have a caller, Beg Advocate, Mr. Beg Advocate.
Yes,
Yeah.
Assalamu alaikum. I hope
Well,
Sheikh Saab and the team, how are you? I hope you are okay, and you're
thank you.
discussing the most important thing that is also of a concern for all of us in Pakistan as well.
Thank you. Mr. Mahar Beg. Thank you, Mr. Mahar Beg. He's an advocate in Pakistan. Yes.
Sheikh
Please,
Saab,
please share this with your friends and the groups. All this thing, this video. Please share.
yes, Sheikh Saab, this is what I'm going to do. And I was
Thank you.
thinking the consequences of this survey is
Hmm.
that how it is badly going to provoke the hatred of people
Yes,
living in the Europe towards Pakistani people and the
Pakistan.
people in Pakistan and the government of Pakistan, and
Yes,
the foreign policy, how it is going to be affected by such surveys that are based upon the hatred and that are biased and that are one-sided surveys. So, of course, this is what we are going to do, that we are going to tell in Pakistan that such type of surveys are of no use in Pakistan.
Well, Maher Beg, sir, thank you very much for joining us on the show, and we appreciate your comments. Yes, just as I mentioned, after Brother Muslim Bhai gave a very detailed analysis of this survey, specifically, the organization of Khatm-e-Nubuwwat was mentioned. But then again, in one of the very first questions, I think it was question 28, Pakistan was mentioned by name. Now, because the greater Ahmadiyya community had to migrate along with all the other, the Muslims in 1947 from their founding city Qadian to Pakistan. Now Pakistan's name is being thrown up in the mix, and in the greater Pakistan community, Ahmadis still don't measure up to even 1% of the population. A recent population in Pakistan was done to where I think there's about 200,000, or in Urdu we say 2 lakh. 186,000 Ahmadis in Pakistan against a greater population of 220 plus million people, majority of Muslims living in Pakistan. So singling out organizations is wrong in any survey. Singling out any country. My birthplace is the United States. If somebody singles out the United States unfairly, I'm going to speak up about that. Every Pakistani should speak up about this, bring it to their government and local officials. If our English viewers today go back, and if you're fluent or understand the Urdu language, you should go watch the Urdu show that was conducted on Saturday, October 9th. And because in that, the discriminative nature of this survey not just applies to the Muslim population in the United Kingdom, it can affect Muslim jobs if your local, if any of your local mayorship, township is employed with Muslims at large, they can be affected with their jobs. So
it's a hatred against the Muslims all over the world.
Exactly, and that should be defeated at the very beginning. And I applaud Brother Muslim Bhai for bringing this to the surface and sharing these documents, these surveys with us, because it's very important that it comes to light so we can stamp this out immediately. I did one, Sheikh Saab, just one quick.
Sure.
One big thank you to my brother Bashir Shah. The article in Al-Fazl was from November 13, 1946. November 13, 1946 is the Al-Fazl newspaper that Mirza Bashiruddin Mahmud said, please do not, account for Ahmadis with the Muslims. He said, leave us separate. We're separate just like the Parsis.
Yes.
Very clearly in that.
That's right. Thank you so much, Brother Umar. And before I go towards the Brother Muslim, there is a caller, Ali. Please just stick to this and as brief as you can to the survey point. Nothing other than that. Thank you, Brother Ali.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh Saab, and all panelists. Actually, this is very interesting topic. I want to draw some information or some of your attention toward a few points. Actually, this survey basically based on one murder. Okay, so this Ahmadiyya Jamaat is using the previous murders. I think there was one murder, if I'm not wrong, that was Asad Shah's murder in Glasgow. If you look at Wikipedia, and if you look at a magazine called The Economics and the Guardian newspaper, so the Jamaat is using, Ahmadiyya Jamaat is using that particular murder as a hatred. If you see in any big city, it could be London, Glasgow, or any city in the world, their murder happens on, street crimes, many other reasons. So that particular murder happened in a name of hate crime or religious crime. So they are capitalizing on that murder and saying, oh, we are facing discrimination from fellow Muslim population in the UK. But if you see, we have more than 6 million people living in the UK who are Muslim from various different countries. But when we look at Ahmadiyya population over a 100-year period from 1924 up to now, they are around 30,000. I basically disagree with that figure because I have participated in their jalsas and I've done all their works on various different levels. I believe their active members are around 8,000, 10,000. They have a full freedom in the UK. They have one of their MP who is working as a South Asia minister. They have a crown prosecutor representing their community and a UK in UN. So if there was any discrimination, all these Muslim MPs, Muslim bureaucrats, they wouldn't have gave them an opportunity to progress further. So there is no discrimination at all. So the second point I want to draw, there was a report on a BBC website which was talking about Stockwell Green Mosque. And they basically mentioned some of those leaflets were distributed by Khatm Nabuwat around that area. And that basically, these leaflets were completely denied by Khatm Nabuwat UK organization. They say these are fake leaflets, they don't belong to us, they have nothing to do with us. So based on these false, we don't know who distributed those leaflets, but there are many leaflets circulating around various different communities like Black people, Sikhs, Hindus, Muslims, but you can't just make a case against large majority of population in the UK which represent Islam. Their representation is not even more than 1%. I think 0.003 or something like that. So how come they can represent a case for whole Muslim population in the UK? And that survey doesn't represent, various different community here in the UK. So I believe this survey is invalid, doesn't represent the large number of Muslim population. Second thing is that if they are asking 300 MDs to participate in this survey, Ahmadiyya community also have multiple sects within themselves, like Jamba groups and many different. They also live in UK, Lahori Jamaat already mentioned by Muslim brother. So are they going to do the justice among themselves as well?
Well, Brother Ali, thank you so much. Yes, these questions can be asked them, but we are talking about the survey. Survey has not done, so survey is not the question that valid or non-valid. What the Muslims should play, they should follow the link, they should see the survey and look at what will be the consequences and how we should prepare ourselves. That's the main cause of this one. I will ask Brother Muslim to respond. Our brother advocate Mahar Beg, I think he got an idea that this survey might have anything regarding the Pakistan. Yes, they did the name Pakistan, but this survey is not regarding Pakistan or about the Pakistan. And whatever the brother Ali said, if you would like to respond to that one. Yes, Brother Muslim.
Ji Sheikh sir, you're right. I thought I heard the respected lawyer from Pakistan who was on the call saying that probably this survey is being conducted in Pakistan as well. This is not the case. This survey is limited to 300 people living in the UK. So this survey, the purview of the survey is limited to the UK and not to Pakistan. I just wanted to correct that position.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sheikh Sahab, first of all, I did not mention it that this survey is being conducted in Pakistan. I said that the effect and the consequences it can have in Pakistan.
Okay. Thank you so much for this clarification. Thank you. Thanks a lot. And Brother Umar, if you have anything, otherwise we will wrap up.
Well, I think thank you for all the participants, especially I believe the caller Ali is an ex-Ahmadi, and he shared his
Yeah,
perspective of the Ahmadiyya community being 8 to 10,000. Wow, that's even a lower number, but it brings there's a lot of perspective that the Ahmadiyya community needs to think about at large. I will put like I said, my own perspective is there's an Ahmadi agenda behind this survey.
yeah.
And just as Muslim Bias says, it is everyone's responsibility to stand up and unite in a democratic way against this survey. Thank you all.
Thank you, Umar Bhai. And there is no doubt, yes, Ali is a very active and updated gentleman. And I thank you, all the participants, the panelists, and especially to the respected Muslim Bhai that he gave us his precious time, and he gave us the precious, we can say, the information and the instructions, whatever is going on and whatever the Ahmadiyya is thinking. I really appreciate the people who have an eye on these things, and looking forward that in future, if we need his help, he will be there. I really strongly, from core of my heart, I thank you so much, brother Muslim Bhai. If you have to say a few words.
Thank you, Sheikh Saab. Basically, this was your initiative. You invited me to look into the document and says few words. Though you said few words, but I have taken a lot of time during this session, and I also thank everybody. Please take it positively, but proactively, as somebody said previously, that there is no need to cry on the spilt milk. There is the importance is to make sure that our milk does not fall or does not spilt. So we are supposed to be proactive, and we must support each other and also others as well in taking the right line, not only in the UK but also United States, Canada, and other countries as well. Inshallah, if anybody wants to find out further information, Sheikh Saab is available. They can contact them, as well as Zatoon FM TV. I'm obliged to all for giving me opportunity and time and listening to me. Thank you, everybody. So kind of you. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. If Mr. Ahir is listening me, Mr. Ahir, are you there? Mr. Ahir, can you hear me? I think his mic is mute. Please, would you unmute your mic? Brother Umar, maybe he will listen to you.
Sheikh Saab, I think I don't see any audio activity on Brother Farouk's profile.
Yeah, his internet have a problem because the live program should be over now because of time. So,
Sheikh Saab, can we add one more thing before going and before the termination of the program, please?
Sure, go ahead.
Yeah, the point which I wanted to raise out that for the research methodology, there are always the standards of doing a research. And when the questions are framed in such a way that which are biased and which are discriminatory in the nature, that itself reveals the mindset behind this survey. So this is what is, which was in my mind, that the kinds of questions that are being asked in the survey that are against the methods and the principles of research methodology. So this is what shows the intentions behind this survey. And
yeah.
secondly, I would like to welcome Mr. Bashir as well. And after a long time, I have seen him. And I'm sorry I was not in touch with him. And welcome, Mr.
Okay.
Bashir.
Thank you, Marsa. I will ask Brother Bashir. Bashir, please, I was going to wrap, but I saw your smiling face, so definitely I would love to listen from you if you will say a few words. Thank you. I appreciate it. Yes, Bashir.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh Saab, and much respect. You are the pioneer for all of us across all channels. I just wanted to say that this is how the Ahmadiyya movement takes surveys and twists the information. In Africa, they claim to have millions and millions in Nigeria, and it's simply because they twisted the information from a survey. So this is what they're doing. Even in Qadian, they twist the information of the national survey of how many people are in Qadian. So these are the games the Ahmadiyya movement is playing behind the scenes. This was an amazing program. I love seeing Sheikh Saab, my brother Umar, my brother Meher, Farouk, Muslim Bhai. This was an amazing program. I'm going to keep it short, but yeah, those are my only comments.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much, Bashir, and we will see you again. And I believe it's we have done all that. Brother Umar, if you have to say anything, otherwise we will say goodbye to everybody.
Just real quickly, very interesting. Sure. Brother Meher Beg mentioned something, and I wanted to respond. Yes, this sure. is agenda. This survey that Muslim Bhai has outlined is agenda driven. It is obviously based with the greater Ahmadiyya community in United Kingdom, but let's understand some of the reasons. I took some notes from the Urdu program that was provided on Saturday, October 9th. You know, it's very interesting that there are several PhD theses out there against the Ahmadiyya community, against the Ahmadiyya belief. And I think this could be in some way, shape, or form in retaliation to all those PhD theses that are out there in the larger public being shared. And quite interestingly, those theses have been recently shared on other Muslim platform shows. So, you know, Ahmadis will always try to come up with tit for tat. They always have to bring something to the table to say, aha, we got you, or we're going to get our own thesis now. So it's very important that we all act. Jazakallah khair for everyone who participated. And Sheikh Saab, again, thank you very much for my invite.
Thank you so much. And I will say that we will wrap up. Allah Hafiz. Goodbye.